Okay, hi everybody, it's me, Bronchi922. Got a lot of, actually I uploaded them already. I was gonna say a lot of reviews to do, really nothing. It's, um, Mayorga. I did a review on that, I gotta upload that. But this is gonna be Taizai. Now, this was a double chapter, release. So they came out with chapter 179, which was called, I think it was called something Hope. Yeah, I believe it was something Hope. Like Finding of Hope or something. And the second one was called Wandering Night. Now, not night as in night. So this chapter, the first one, pretty much all it is we have Arthur. Listen, let's be honest. Arthur's not doing. Listen, Arthur is not anywhere near the level. Like, he can take out a few demons, but he can't, in no way, shape, or form, actually perform some kind of offensive. Now, he defeats one thing, and then one of the guys that's with him states, as long as that cat creature is by your side, you shall not stare death in the eye. These are basically his cohorts that are with him, battling the demons and stuff. And that's when a horde of the demon tribe show up, and they run, and they retreat. And he says, I've got to get stronger, way, way, way stronger. Yeah, like, I mean, they showed this. I didn't do a review for the last chapter because I was so distraught over the previous one. But the thing is, Arthur's he's not the answer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's just not the answer at this moment. He's not. He's got to train a lot to even be within striking distance of where Melados was. I don't even think about asking if he's going to fight the Ten Commandments, because that's not happening. Now, the rest of the chapter after Arthur is basically about one guy who manages to escape, who happens to be, and here's the thing, the ending of chapter 179 and the beginning of chapter 180, remember, this is a month after Melados. The ending of 179 and the beginning of 180 felt reminiscent to the beginning of Taizai. So you could say this is like, it's like almost like a month after now everyone's been separated again. Because the conclusion of this altercation, and the guy who's here in the chapter is Golgius. I can't say his name. He shows up. He's the guy who was from Weirded Fang. Remember them? All the way in the beginning? Yeah, he shows up. And what happens is, he's like distraught because like he got defeated by the 7 deadly sins, and now he's running from his life from these demons that are going to eat him. And he basically stating to himself that he definitely caught a break. And then he sees something approaching him, and what is it? It's Moorhat. And that's when we go into the next chapter, 180. Now, 179, really nothing happened. In some way, 179 was just half of it was just the conclusion from the previous chapter, and the other half was just set up for what's going to happen in chapter 180. Now, as far as 179 is concerned, I would give it a 4 out of 5. I think it was okay. All it really showed us was Arthur needs to be much stronger, and he isn't. And it sets up this meeting with Golgus and who we eventually see. So we see he's in bed, and he's okay, and then we see he's in the boar hat, and we see someone serving drinks. It's Elizabeth. Now, the ending of 180, I flipped my shit. I completely was like, what? Because at the end of chapter 180, we find out who the Wandering Gang is. Now, majority of 180 is basically, you can really make the case that this is just like the beginning of Taizai. Almost. It's pretty much just like the beginning of Taizai. Just like how the beginning of Taizai started, Seven Deadly Sins. The only difference is the one in the bed is not Elizabeth, it's Golgus, and the other one in the bed is Melados. Actually, it's Elizabeth serving everyone, and Golgus, he's wondering why Elizabeth is doing what she's doing, because we're enemies and all that jazz. This basically, she says something. Let me get to the page where she says something. She says something to Golgus that isn't really like, and she's trying her hardest really to serve everyone in the boar hat. It's really like, wow, So the moment she says something to Golgus after he saying, because he says like, yeah, he says, if you knew then, why did you bother saving me? As a member of Weird Fangs, I have crossed blades with all of you as my enemy. You're not going to give me some lame, naive line, how you can't overlook whoever's suffering and so on and so forth. Basically, there's nothing me or any one of us can do. And that's when she says, as long as you still breathe, you are afforded the opportunity to fight and protect those of you own choosing. And as such, you'll have people to share your suffering, misery, and sorrow with. Give it for Elizabeth to an extent. You should really give her some credit. I think I don't take a look at anyone else's Taizai reviews, but I personally would say this: give Elizabeth a bone. Yeah, give her a bone. I know some people don't like her because she cried and she whined. Think about it. She's able to continue doing what she's doing. Why we saw what happened with Melas. So it was a breath of fresh air. I felt that she was able to put on a brave face in front of everyone and serving them, knowing what happened to Melas. Now, the question obviously comes to my mind is, where is everybody else? Where's King? Where's Diane? Where's Escanor? Where's Galther? Where are they? Personally, I think they're training. That's what I think. If I was them, I would be doing that right now. Increasing their power with anything they have at their disposal. Now, she says this to him. and he's like torn up because he says, for a man like me who spent time in darkness, you simply radiate too much light. Find out Melodas's body is in the Moorhead. He's in a room. He's saying, Elizabeth's pleading with him, so please open your eyes, wake up, everyone's waiting for you, Melrose. More than anyone else, I just can't bear to live in a world without you. Now, here's the kicker. The wandering knight shows up. And at first I'm thinking, okay, who is this? Because I'm thinking, alright, it could be Escanor, it could be somebody else. It could be anybody. Hawk opens the door, says, oh, he's really here. It's a ghost knight. You know, he's schwitzing over there. And he's like, what's the matter, Hawk? Where are you getting all worked up for? A customer? Oh, Lady Elizabeth, you sure have grown up wonderfully. He said, this person said Lady Elizabeth. So now I'm like, okay, what's going on here? When I saw you at Vizel, I convinced myself it couldn't really be you, so I did not bother introducing myself. I mean, it had been over 10 years since I last seen you. And I'm like, no. I didn't believe it was true. And she says, it couldn't be. Are you Zara Truss, the motherfucker who leaded the Holy Knights in the beginning, who got skewered by Hendrickson? I could not believe it. When this happened, I'm like, the 10 years, an astonishing chance encounter, the wheels of fate have finally begun to turn. And on the side it says, he was supposed to have been slain by a Hendrickson who had fallen into darkness, but now Zarathos appears and stands before them. The mighty former captain of the Holy Knights drops by the bar. Okay, first of all, there's a lot of questions when I saw that. I was thinking to myself, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. There can only be two ways, from my point of view, that this guy came back. Way one, it was the demons. It was the Ten Commandments. But then again, you're like, wait a minute, that makes no sense. Maybe, I think, don't want to use another character from another shonen. I don't want to say Isaac's name here. But maybe, it's Isaac. But instead of turning bad, he just pulled an Isaac and went into hiding. And he really didn't make it. Because here's the thing. If he's back, that's the leader of the Holy Knights. If he's returned, things are moving along here. But the question remains to me, like, this shocked me to the core. Because I'm like, this dude was dead! People saw the anime, they read the manga, he was skewered. He was a freaking pincushion. I just can't. It's so ridiculous. Now, maybe there's a reason. Because think about it. Meliodas dies. We get a chapter with Arthur. We get another chapter with Arthur. Then, after three, at the end of the third chapter, after Meliodas dies, who do we get? Him. This can't be a coincidence. It can't. It just can't. This cannot be a coincidence. There has to be a reason for this. Because, man, if this guy shows up now, I'm seeing it. And you gotta wonder, how strong is he? That's another thing to think about. Because if he's back in the league, if he's here now, I don't know what this means, because remember, there's a lot of questions here. Where the fuck's Escanor? Where the fuck's King? Where the hell's Diane? Where's Gowther? Where's Merlin? We know where Bon is. But there's a lot of questions to be answered here. But I wonder where this is going to entail. Now remember, he said he saw her. So he's been around. He's been around with anyone knowing that he was around. So I'm very excited. This has got me like, whoa. You know? I've got to give it to Nakaba. He gets 2 thumbs up. If it's a hand. Gets 2 thumbs up, a gold star, and I say, dude, this chapter gets a 5 out of 5. And keep going in this direction. I don't know if this is, you know, I know it looks grim, but I want to see this now. I'm intrigued. Where is this leading up to? So, that's the story. So 179 gets a, for me, 4 out of 5. It wasn't really much to it. But this gets a 5 out of 5. I want to know how the fuck this guy survived. What the fuck he did? Damn! It's alive? How? Find out next week. I can't wait for the next chapter. I'm so hyped for it. Oh, man. How the fuck this fucker did? How did he survive? Got skewered. Find out. Till then, Bonka 922. I'll see you guys later. I'll be in Zoro's stream for Game of Thrones talk. So, for to that, I'll see you guys later.